Uh, um, it might help if I cut the freaking mic on. Hey guys, how you doing? This is GA-H110m-a MoBo, and I'm coming to you again with another Breath of the Wild Cemu tutorial. And what we're going to do is we're going to switch over from Breath of the Wild 1.10 to 1.11. And actually, I'm also going to show you some weird things that I've seen in Cemu. So right now, if you're looking at this, I'm not looking at the frame counter at top. I am literally looking at the frame counter towards the corner, at the bottom left-hand corner. That's the more accurate frame counter. For some reason, and I don't know why, but it seems when you go to higher reses with Cemu now, you'll get more stable, smoother frames. And when I say stable, smoother, I don't mean up around 60. We're talking better frame timing. And I'm going to show you how to set up for better frame timing as well. Also, if you have an NVIDIA GPU, I'm going to show you my settings, because a lot of people don't seem to have, or won't seem to have, the exact experience that I'm having. And I actually can say that 1.10 is probably my worst experience. But like everything else, it's going to be a shared adventure with all of you guys. So let's go ahead and cut this off. And before I go, I want to go ahead and turn on my task manager so you can see exactly the weirdness that's going on. Now, for Breath of the Wild, I've never hit 100 on my GPU. And by the way, my GPU is a 1060. I never hit 100 on my GPU until like 5K, where I hit 100 on the GPU and I'm still running around either between 30 and 20, and it fluctuates between 30 and 20 FPS. I recently tried it on 8K, and of course I got grit locked to about 8 FPS, as it's supposed to, because my hardware wouldn't really support that. It can support 4K just fine. But when I noticed when I went down in resolution, I started getting weirder frame pacing. So I went ahead and I experimented with the experimental settings off. And if you noticed my GPU targeting before, it's now changed. Now, of course, this will give you more frames per the CPU side, but the reason for that experimental tab is to sync it up just like how the WiiU would sync up its components. So your CPU and GPU should be at the same sync. That's not the case with a lot of people's hardware, and I know that. So to have a smoother experience at some point at higher resolution, I would turn this on. And I would get better frame pacing and better timing along with the rest of the settings I have, which I will show you a little bit later. Anyway, let's go ahead and get into this. Let's cut that off. First thing we want to do is we're going to go down to the link in the description, or go to Google and download the newest Cemu. Should take a couple of seconds. While we're doing that, we're going to open up our old Cemu, and we're going to put that over there as another screen, and we're going to go into our downloads where our new Cemu is. I'm going to extract here because usually it does have the folder within it. There it is. And now I'm going to go into my shit folder, go into, where is it? Nintendo folder. Place this Cemu in the Nintendo folder, and always make sure to always keep backups of Cemus. I always keep them just in case one doesn't work for me and one does. And this Cemu is already labeled as such. We're going to open this one up. And what we're going to do is we're going to copy all of these folders and there it is. Copy. Come on to this side and paste. Now this should take a few minutes depending on how much data you have stored on your other folders, especially for the older Cemu users. If you're just new to Cemu, all you had to do is just go ahead and download it from the internet or download it from the Cemu page itself. So don't you worry about that. While this is happening, we're going to go ahead and head back to the internet. We're going to go to Cemu Hook. Link will be down in the description, and we're going to pick up the newest Cemu Hook. Download that. I hate this bar. I don't know why the hell I always have this bar. Alright, and as we're doing that, we're going to cut the short. And I'm going to bring out the Cemu Hook and have it ready to install as soon as the Cemu is done. All right. Next thing you're going to want to do is, and I'm doing this experimental, and it's quite fun, except for when you're in the menus. I'm going to link the Breath of the Wild FPS mod that is for 240 FPS. Now, in the menu, and this is the disclaimer, you're going to have a shit time trying to navigate. But I would say if you already have a file and you're just going to continue, your cursor is already going to be on continue, just press continue. And I've been having fun with it so far, even though I can't fucking reach higher frames. So let's go ahead and download that. Let's go ahead and go to the download button, get out of the about blank. And this is my add-ons tab. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to go to the 100% shader cache. And we're going to download that. Excuse me. So if you are done with your, or if you're close to finish with your download, which you're probably not, the third thing you're probably going to want to get while it's downloading, or fourth thing, is the new shader cache. I already have the new shader cache, but I will put this link in the description for everybody. So I'm just going to download it anyway, because why not? It's only 1 megabyte. I should be able to handle that. And then we're going to go out and make sure everything is ready in our downloads tab or folder. So we're going to put this shader cache, this graphics pack up here. We're going to put the Breath of the Wild 240 frames per second pack up there. We're going to take our shader cache and put it up there as well. And currently what we're waiting for is the transfer of our original Cemu material to our new Cemu. Everything else I believe we already have. For a lot of people who want to have the older Cemu graphics packs, I'll just go ahead and put this out as well. Now the thing is, a lot of the older Cemu graphics packs aren't, they're not supposed to be optimized for the new versions of Cemu. However, I've used them and I've had no issue. But that could also lead to why it feels like the higher I get in resolution, the better Cemu runs, versus how I know it's supposed to run versus other resolutions. In the past, Cemu ran similar depending if you had it on 4K to 1080p. Now it seems that all of the lower packs just run like shit, which could be the unoptimized packs, and the newer packs run great until I hit 5 to 8K. Which could be a thing. I'm not sure. I don't know. But it is what it is. So let's see. I'm going to go ahead and start making some folders. We're going to call this folder. Actually, we're just going to call this a new folder where we're going to unleash a lot of the regular stuff that we have. So let's call this new stuff folder, because you know we don't have enough new stuff folders to have new stuff in, because whatever. Let's see, what do I want to do? I want to get the old graphics packs. Let's open these, extract here. And the reason why you're not extracted is because... oh, there we go. So wondering what the hell is happening. Oh, it's probably because I'm freaking downloading or transferring files as well. We're going to put this up here. And we're going to take the new graphics packs. And we're going to extract here as well. Yep, this looks about right. So we're going to take that zip file, put it up here. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to, and I'm not going to do it in this one, I'm just going to make a new folder, because we love new folders. Feel like Bob Ross. We're going to call that new stuff EX 35. Yeah, 35. We're going to take that. We're going to put the Breath of the Wild frame, the extra frames graphics pack in this one. We're going to move this one to the side because we no longer need it, but we're going to put it up under graphics packs. We're going to go ahead and extract the new frames graphics pack right there. We're going to take this out. We're going to set it right here. That's where we're going to set that. And we're still waiting for my data to transfer over, because why not? I'm not going to do anything with Cemu Hook because I just need to install Cemu Hook directly into the new Cemu. So we're just going to wait this out for right now. And I have the new compiler shaders, of course, which is just the old compiler shaders that I've had before, which is supposed to be 100%. But again, don't worry. If you are a returning Cemu user, you don't need to use the shader pack. You already have your shader packs. Your shader packs should be fine. If you are a new Cemu user, you will need to get this shader pack. And once you do have said shader pack, let's turn that off. Let's turn that off. The place that you would want to go and to make sure to use your shader packs would actually be in the newer area, which will be in your shader cache folder, and it will be in your transferable. But right now it hasn't finished, so we're going to go ahead and wait, because hurrying up and waiting is exactly what we're doing. Holy crap. There we go. And yes, replace any file that's in there that's a duplicate, because we don't need them. And there we go. So the first thing we want to do after this is complete is we want to go close out this Cemu, activate this Cemu's execute file. It seems to be working fine. After that, you should see your key log, your keys, key log, and then you have your regular log, which is just fine. You can check that if you want to. It'll go ahead and tell you exactly what you need to know, especially when you're going to operate any of the games that you have. All right, now that we have this out the way, we can go ahead and put in our Cemu Hook. So take the Cemu Hook file that you have, extract here, yes to all. All right. Now that we're done with that, take out your Cemu Hook, activate your Cemu, and you should see this now, which is you should see the Cemu plugin. You should see the address for the Cemu Hook and Cemu plugin. You should see Cemu itself, and of course you should see the Cemu update on the top corner. Now we're going to go ahead and get out of this. We're going to go into graphics packs, which I don't need to, but I'm going to anyway. First thing we're going to want to do is install the rest of our graphics packs. So we're going to go into the first graphics pack that I want to go ahead and try, and this is experimental, and trust me, you're going to love this regardless. You can either copy and paste, or you can just go ahead and put it in yourself. Once you've done that, delete the extra photo you don't want. Now for your other graphics packs, what you want to do is and I'm actually looking for it because, you know, whatever. Where is it? Hyrule Warriors. I keep forgetting about that game. Okay, so what you want to do is you're going to go to Breath of the Wild. There it is. You're going to go to the removals. Basically everything that says Breath of the Wild, you're going to go and copy over. Once you're make sure you're copied, go into the graphics packs and paste. Replace anything that needs to be replaced. You know, since I can't actually find everything I want, I'm going to just delete everything here because I fucked up. Remember, kids, don't be like me. Always keep track of everything you're doing. Alright, now that our folder is empty once more, I wanted to check out this graphics pack. This is the pack master I have. This is an old graphics pack. And we're going to extract here. There it is. We're going to take that out. We're going to open up this. And of course we have the older versions of the graphics packs if you ever want to use those, including workarounds for different areas such as smoke direction, which I'm going to take this, copy that over. Because the old smoke direction seems to work fine for me. Let's see, enhancements. I'm not going to use any of the regular enhancements. I've already have them, but if you need to, you can go ahead and take all of these and put them in there as well. And regular shadows, now you don't really want regular shadows. You want to go ahead and run your shadows according to whatever your resolution is. All right, now that we've got that settled, the next thing we're going to have to do is, well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this new stuff folder and I'm going to delete it because I don't like extra folders for nothing. And now what you want to do is you want to make sure to put all your shit together. Get all your shit right there. Just put it all together so you can go ahead and file those away into your Nintendo, your folder or whatever backup folder you always have. It's always important to keep a backup. Now for your shader caches, what you're going to want to do is you want to go into transferable. And this screen might be blank if you're new. If you're not new, the number that you're going to want to copy, don't know why I did that, the number you're going to want to copy onto your new shader cache will be the 2912EB2F number. I'll repeat this. It is 2912EB2F. That is the shader cache and the number associated with the EU, the English version, or the UK version of, or the European, why am I saying that? Excuse me, the European version of Breath of the Wild. If you have the American version of Breath of the Wild, you will not need to change the number of this shader cache. If you have the American version of Breath of the Wild, all you would need to do is take your shader cache that says DC AC 9927 and just apply it, and you should be done. However, if you have the English version, or the European version of Breath of the Wild, you would want to take your shader cache, the number that's before the bin, copy it, go to the shader cache you want to install, and paste the new number. Once you paste the new number, put it into your files. Once you put it into your files, you should be fine. I'm not going to put it into my files because my shader cache is fairly okay. It doesn't need to be changed. The next thing you want to do is you want to go into your game profiles. Now for the American version of Breath of the Wild, your profile would be 000500001C9400. Now you would go into your American version of Breath of the Wild, and you will automatically see that your precision is already set to true, and your accuracy share mull is set to min. You can go ahead and delete the min, and I'm going to show you in my version of Breath of the Wild, which is just right below the American version. I've already deleted the minimal requirements for the shaders. Now if you want to set it on min, a lot of functionality within the graphics itself, it will take away certain things like laser beams or other things that you won't miss seeing, like a couple of sparkle textures and whatnot. But if you want to run Breath of the Wild with all the bells and whistles, go ahead and take this off. Once you've taken it off, go into File, Save as such. Now we're going to go ahead and set up your NVIDIA, because I know I never talked about this before, but we're going to go ahead and set up your NVIDIA control panel side for your Breath of the Wild. So what you want to do is you want to right click on your desktop, or if you're on a laptop, right click on just any part of your desktop. You want to go into Adjust Image. Now I switch these between games because I don't really need to have quality when I already have quality drivers for different games. But for Breath of the Wild, set it towards the middle, which is use the advanced 3D image settings. You want to go to Manage 3D Settings. You want to go to Program Settings. Now, it should search for the last program you used. Again, I used the Cemu executable. But if you don't see it, you can go always search for it. If you don't know where it's at, you can always add to it. So you can go into your adding, and you should see your Cemu emulator right there. Add it, and it'll pop onto this side right here. Now, the settings that you want to change are going to be as follows. Shader cache, you want to turn that on. Texture filter, the fuck. This one right here. You want to turn that off. You want to tear negative load to allow, not global allow, just allow, because you want it to focus. And you want to turn your quality onto quality. Now you can always turn your quality into high performance if you want, but there's no real reason for your high performance if you have RAM that's already modded to be faster than what it is. And I'll talk about that a little bit later. But you want to also turn your threaded optimization on. Turning your threaded optimization on actually helps the experimental part of the Breath of the Wild, or excuse me, the experimental part of the Cemu sync up with your GPU properly, or supposedly. And I have seen differences the higher I go into resolution, but I've seen no difference in the lower versions of the resolution gap. Once you have these checked in, there should be a little button that should say apply. Hit apply, and everything should be set for you. The third thing I want to talk about is something that's going to be different for everyone. And I'm just saying this now, and I'll probably make a different video on it later. In your BIOS, your regular BIOS for your PC, for RAM speeds, because a lot of people are stuck at regular RAM settings and not the actually intended RAM settings, unless your motherboard doesn't support the overclocked RAM settings. For a lot of people who have GDR4, which is at around 2133, you should be fine. But if you want to up your clocks to 2400 or 3000, go into your BIOS, which is if you start your computer, before it goes to anything, tap your delete key multiple times. Then you want to go into your advanced RAM settings. I can't show you because I'm not in the BIOS itself, but I'm just going to talk you through it. Once you go into your advanced RAM settings, you should see something that says XMP. Click on that and you should go into your overclocked RAM speeds. If you do not have that, or if you have a motherboard that does not support advanced RAM speeds, but you have RAM, say if you have RAM that is for 2400 but is defaultly running at 2133, there is boost modes for different motherboards. Not all, but some. What you want to do is you want to go in, activate your boost mode. Then you want to go into RAM clocks. Now it should say different RAM clocks, but for Gigabyte, which is the board I'm using, it would say different RAM clocks and RAM speeds. And then you can go ahead and go for high performance. It should either say high performance or less stable. If your RAM is 2400, go ahead and go for high performance, because your RAM normally is supposed to be 2400 instead of 21. You will see slight difference. It will run the RAM as fast as it possibly can, and it's supposed to be less stable, but your RAM is built for this speed, so you should have no issue. Alright, now that I've got that talking point out of the way, I'm going to open up Cemu. I'm going to go through certain settings that I use, or I have used, that I'm going to have you guys go ahead and click on before we go into Cemu. Sorry, I'm still dealing with this cold or whatever it is. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to the debug menu first. And we're going to go into timers. So for custom timers, you can go ahead and use QPC, and it's for various machines. QPC can help, but RDTC or RDTSC is the timer I was using beforehand, and I've been running it with different results for different resolutions. So I'm going to click on this, the RDTC, the RDTSC, and keep your speeds at 1. The speeds right here, if you're familiar with Cheat Engine, that's all these are right here. So just keep it at ×1. It should be fine. Go to your timer accuracy and set that to 1. A lot of people say they have good results with 1 or highest. Let's set it to 1 for right now. If you see there's any sort of skipping or hopping other than of course, the shader compiling, you can always set it to highest and you'll be fine. As it goes for infinity, it should be fine. Your timing should be fine. Mode, your cores should be set to fastest always. If not, if your cores are not set to fastest or to fast, make sure to set it to it yourself. I've noticed that sometimes this changes between Cemu. Now for experimental, make sure you click on use RDST, this one right here. Make sure to click it. Make sure to click full sync. That's what we're just going to call it. We're going to call it full sync. Make sure to tag off the Breath of the Wild workaround crash, because you don't need that because it's in the graphics packs. For controllers, I'm still using my motion control by slot, but if you don't have your motion control, which I should make a video on, you can always just use default. For your audio settings should be fine. For your graphics buffer, you want to set that to lowest, which is the fast. For your upscaling, you want to set it on bilinear. I'm going to keep always downscale for bilinear. That's when you have like your box or whatnot, but don't worry about that. Let's see. Am I missing anything right now? Let's see. Input settings. Of course. How could I forget input settings? So, if you're coming from your older Cemu, your Cemu settings should be as followed. you should automatically have regular Cemu settings that just carry over. If not, don't worry, we'll go ahead and help you with your Cemu settings. So the first thing you want to do is you're going to want to switch this on for emulate control for WiiU Gamepad or WiiU Gamepad Controller Pro. It doesn't matter which one you want to do. For Xbox users, you're going to want to use Xpin, Xbox controller users. For PS4 controller users, you're going to want to use direct input. You're going to want to have a program such as DS4, which should be commonplace for a lot of PS4 controller users. And you should want to already have that clicked on. Once you do, for controllers, you're going to see Xbox 360 for Windows. I know it sounds weird. Just go ahead and click that on anyway. And once you do that, you're going to want to start the process of lining your buttons up. And I'm going to get my WiiU pad or WiiU control, and I'm going to start with the A button. So for the A button, you're going to want to push circle for PS4 controller users. For B, you're going to want to press X or cross. For X, you're going to want to press triangle. For Y, you're going to want to press square. For L, you're going to want to press the L1 button. For R, you're going to want to press the R1 button. For LZ, you're going to want to press the L2 button. For RZ, you're going to want to press the R2 button. For plus, you're going to want to press options. For minus, you're going to want to press share. Now, the second set of buttons over here is your analogs. I know it looks like an I, but it's supposed to be an L. So for L, you're going to want to click on your button for L click. For L up, just press up. For L down, press down. For left, press left. For right, press right. And for your right stick, do the same thing. So click in your button for L R click. Up for right. Down, left, right. For D-pad, you're just going to press up on your D-pad, down on your D-pad, left on your D-pad, right on your D-pad. For mic blow, I do not use mic blow. You don't need to use mic blow, and you should be fine. And for future, you're going to always want to save for another name. So let's just call this and then save that as such. And once you save it, you can always go and load the profile. Oh, sorry. You can always go in and load set profile, and everything should be fine. And to prove that, I'm just going to go into and complete empty profile. And there you go. Once that is done, just exit out, and that should be it for your buttons. That should be it for your settings. The only thing you need to do is load your game. I know this says install game updates or DLC, and primarily that is for the WiiU, what's it called? WiiU Helper. I do not use WiiU Helper. I use MapleSeed. And if you want to see how to install those updates, I will get to that in another video. But right now, we're just testing this out. Oh, wait a minute. I almost forgot. Graphics packs. Most important. So, for your graphics packs, the main things you want to set on is, and I'm just going to do this, set on your 240 freaking frames per second graphics pack, because why not? I'm going to set on, let's set on 4K. Where's the crash workaround? Because it should be here somewhere, but I don't see it. Here it is. Set on your crash workaround. And for anybody starting, this should be enough. You shouldn't need anything else. Of course, there's always adjusting the fog, adjusting bloom, contrasty, and whatnot. But you should be good for what you have right now. Now let's go ahead and load up the game. In the beginning, your shader cache or your shader compiler, it should take longer than necessary. So I'm going to go ahead and set this down, which is my controller. Click this off. And of course, if you've noticed, NVIDIA drivers work well with the Cemu program itself. So you shouldn't have any problems displaying actual frame counters. As you see, I have it set on the side or bottom left. And I'm using that to actually see and test out how Cemu or how new iterations of Cemu are working. But for some reason, since 1.10, every time I load into Cemu, I've started off around 25 frames, and of course it gets higher from there. And I'm wondering if it's because the maker of Cemu, I think his name is Seb, is leaning towards optimizing your cores to fit your GPU profile and timing, which is good. I would say sure if we can get close to 100%. Which Cemu is not 100% when it comes to certain games. It's just not. But I am a big Monster Hunter fan, and I am definitely going to pick up the new Monster Hunter. And I will definitely test it out on this Cemu, since this Cemu seems to work perfectly with it. This is another reason why I wanted to go ahead and update, but I wanted to go and see how it would contribute and what it's going to do for certain games within the Nintendo franchise itself. Of course, I know Mario Kart is just great with it. And save migration. The save files for this game will be moved from Cemu user such and such and such to Cemu user desktop, Cemu such and such and such user. Okay, that's fine. If you click less, save files will be moved, and you will no longer be compatible with older Cemu releases. If you click yes, if you click no, nothing will happen, and you won't be able to play this game on this release of Cemu. If you are unsure, you can make a backup for your save folders and save files. Alright, let's go ahead and move our saves over. That is new though. I didn't know that was going to happen. But then again, always. Oh, and of course there's a crash, because why not? So let's go ahead and open 110. Why did, and I do want to know, yeah, so it moved the saves on this side instead of on this side, and I want to know why. Huh, something new. As I said before, that was interesting. It just crashed outright. Let's see if it does it again this time, though. No, it doesn't do it again. Okay. So I guess the first crash is because it's transferring the save files. And of course, as it's transferring the save files, it's supposed to try to read it from the other account, which is weird. But anyway, now that we're in the new Cemu, and we can see the shader cache is compiled, which is up top, the GPU, which is the GPU we have, the frame counter that we have up top, and the frame counter that we have on the bottom. What we're going to do is we're going to jump in with our autosave. Look at all these placebo frames. And like I said, this is just experimental. Huh. Jumped in with 27 frames this time. And if you're wondering why I'm running in water, it's because the splash effect usually brings down frame rates. We're talking fucking crawl frame rates. But as you see, I'm also on the 4K, which I should go ahead and expand that. Also on the 4K setting. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up my task manager. And as we can see, I'm not topping out at all. In fact, I'm at less as percentage for GPUs wise on the Cemu emulator version. We can go ahead and take a look at that. So I know that Complaining Gamer has been having a problem. And the reason why I definitely wanted to do this is because I wanted to help out Complaining Gamer, because I want to know what the hell is going on with the new Cemu versus the 1.10. Because I already knew 1.10 was kind of jacked a little bit, but it shouldn't have been jacked a little bit. As you see, right now I'm at around 30, 31, 30, 33, 29, 27. And right there, I think I've hit 90% on my GPU load. Where my CPU load is staying around 70. We're talking high 70s, close to 80s. My memory load is cut in half thanks to the NVIDIA graphics, or sorry, the NVIDIA driver, which seems to be fine. The good thing I can say is there's no milky texture to the... Ooh, I see there's skips and bumps now. There's no milky texture to the water anymore, which that was a problem beforehand. But then again, like I said, this is at 4K. So I'm dripping wet. Dripping wet. So right now, just in the open, I'm fluctuating at 4K between 26 and 38. But the middle seems to be around 30 to 27. Oh, well, I just dipped down to 11 right there. Get out this water before I end up drowning. Interesting. Jump right into the water, 25, 26. Jump out of the water. Well, isn't that weird? So what I'm going to do right now, just experiment. I'm going to turn this off. I'm going to turn that off, take a look at my CPU load, and holy shit, I'm at 98 fucking percent. 92 specifically with my Cemu, but I'm at 98%. Let's go to the top and jump off one more time. It's odd, I'm at 98%, but I'm not redlining my GPU. But my CPU is also at 80 something percent too. Huh. Just because. Let's see what happens. Let's go ahead and put on fin skip. I don't think fin skip works, but you know what? I could be surprised. Let's see. No, before I click that back on, let's see what the temps are now, or what the percentages are now. So 61%, but I'm at 73% total. 81%, 87%, but I'm at 90s, mid 90s, high 90s, low 90s. Also, this is a starting game, so I could deduct points because it is a starting game and I haven't went everywhere. But it is what it is. Alright, let's go ahead and put on the full sync, see what happens. Because this is odd now, because in 10, the higher your resolution, the better you were doing. Now in 11, it seems that there are actual draws now. But then again, it could be just these packs, and I could actually just, in theory, use an older pack and see what happens. In fact, do I have time? Yeah, I have time. Let's go ahead and use an older pack and see what happens. So let's cut this off. And I know this is taking us some time, and if you don't want to see these, that's fine. But this is basically everything. The video has ended right now. And this is basically for Cemu users to switch over. As for new users, if you need to get Breath of the Wild or whatnot, you can always go back to the previous video and I show you exactly how to do that. But what we're going to do right now is we're going to go in to Cemu. Graphics packs. $4K. Oh, I'll turn this off. and go to this one, because we actually probably want to have, you know, some steady control. But I do like using that one for some odd reason, for the fucking lulls. But it's I don't know, it's just weird. Let's see, how do I? Huh, could have swore I put in the older graphics packs beforehand. Nope, I didn't put in the older graphics packs. Let's see, which one is this? We'll see. As soon as I open this up, we'll see which one it is. Alright. Let's see. Modifications. Source and patch roles. Workarounds. Huh? Well, that was the master pack, but what the hell? So I have the source, I have the pack rules, but I need the other freaking... Where is it? There it is. Why did it get moved up there? I have fucking no clue. Let's see. That's my Pros Plus. Transfers, high-res shadows, contrasty, adjustable bloom. Those were the old versions. Huh. Well, fuck me. Feels like I don't know where the fuck my pack is. Alright. Clarity FX. There we go. Wanted to try that. Wanted to see what would happen with that. And this is from an older pack, so I'm going to need to put this in there. Alright, now that that's in, let's add graphics packs as needed. Crash workaround. Contrasty. Because I want to do that. Because we want to break this thing in more ways than one. and the logic should already be inside from the original graphics pack. So, all right, let's load her up. See what happens. Anyway, yep, sorry guys. I know this is longer than necessary, but I want to go ahead and I want to see what's going on specifically with the frames and the cache itself. And I think usually once you have this cache that I have, you're adding to it by exploring the world. So I can totally understand the frame dips itself sometimes, but now it's just weird, and it's always been like this. Cemu has always had this problem. It doesn't know what it wants to do properly, but it tries to do everything. And I can't hate Cemu for wanting to do this. I can't hate the creator for wanting to do this, and especially the team itself. But at some point, I think they're focusing on too much at some point. Or again, I could be just complaining about nothing, and that always is a thing as well. And I noticed that since, you know, I've received my PC, is I've always complained about nothing because I've become more snobbish or whatever. Alright, a little bit of dips. We're at 25, 26. Let's go ahead and take a look at the alright, GPU is at what, 90, low 90s. CPU is at 70s, but we're in 20 to 27 to 31. Okay, so basically putting the old logic from the okay, so that's what's happening. So putting the old logic within the graphics pack, the second graphics pack that I'm going to put in the description below, kind of makes them more steady. I don't know how that works. Did he pop in and pop out? Yes, he did. So he popped out right there. And now he's going to pop in right there. Z-fuck is happening. Alright. Now I'm just probably complaining about nothing again. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into options. I'm going to put in fence skip. I'm going to put in... Oh, the experimental part is already did. I'm going to take that off. And 38, 37 frames. But what is the cost of those frames though? So 99%. So now I'm at 99% GPU. But I'm dipping down to 24, and I'm probably going to dip even further when I jump in this lake. So let's go ahead and do it. No, 24, 25. So steady 24, 25. 29, 27 while swimming. Gets back into the 30s, 31. Alright, we're going to keep fence skip on. Let's go ahead and put in the sync again. And that dropped to 32. And now my GPU is at 88%. I'm going to have to conduct even more ongoing tests. But as it stands, it's running around 30. So, not really a bad situation. And I'm pretty sure as soon as you hit a shrine, it probably will hit 60. It probably won't. I'm not sure. But as it goes for hardware-wise, my hardware isn't a slouch itself. Again, I'm running an i5 6500. And we're coupling that with 16 gigs of RAM, which is stock at 2133, but of course I'm adding the boost to it as well. Plus I'm also changed a little bit of the frequencies to make it quote-unquote unstable per se. And that is also coupled with a 1060 3GB. At this point in the game, I think the weakest thing I have would probably be my motherboard, which is a GA-H110m-a. That's probably my weakest component in here. But aside from that, this is playable, this is finishable at 4K. This is playable and finishable at 4K. So of course at lower reses, which I'm going to have to test, is it going to be playable at that res? I don't know yet. I'll test it out. I'll probably put videos of it out, but aside from what I'm seeing right now, this is it. This is pretty much a good deal, unlike 10, which was all over the place, and I don't know why the hell 10 was all over the place. Anyway, this is GA-H110m-a MoBo. I hope you enjoyed the tutorial and the extra video at the end.